Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and check it out. I have a new die set to share with you, and of course, a new stamp set that Jamie designed to go with my dies. So the stamp set is called Winter Wishes, and it's just chock full of sentiments ready for your holiday crafting. Of course, it's fabulous on its own, and I think it's got some really unique characteristics of that soft curve and sort of that fun warping of the letters along the sides. I just really think it's super interesting and fun. And then you've got some of these larger sentiments that have some iconography and graphics built into it. Really love that. But of course, if you also get it with the die set, then it's just all the more special because there's a spot right here that's perfect for all of these sentiments, and these shorter sentiments can fill this spot right here. But I'm gonna set the stamp set aside, and I'm gonna share with you why I feel like this is the ultimate snow globe shaker die set. There's lots of shaker die sets out there on the market. There's lots of snow globe die sets out there on the market, but what I feel makes this one special, there's a couple of things. So firstly, I really am a strong believer in getting the most bang for your buck, and I try to put in as much versatility and craftability into this die set as I can possibly imagine. And I really feel that if you're going to make the investment to buy dies, then you're going to want to get the most out of them. And so I believe in that for my Easy Wonder line of dies, and I want to bring that into my ultimate line of dies. And so really excited. That's one of the reasons why I separated out the globe portion of the snow globe from the base of the snow globe. So a lot of times what you'll find is for the convenience of running it through your die cutting machine the one time, you'll have like a single piece with your snow globe already all connected, and I think that's really great. And for me though, I value versatility above maybe that sort of ease factor. So this does have two separate components that then you have to kind of bring together to create that snow globe effect. But I feel at the end of the day, what you're going to get is a set of basic circle dies, 4 of them in different sizes, and you're going to get a separate base in 2 different sizes. But when you bring them together, I feel like it actually makes it look nice and realistic that the globe is actually set into the base. But that's not why I did it. The reason why I did it was if you are relatively new to crafting, maybe you don't have a large stash of nested shape dies. So it's really wonderful to get some basic shapes that you can use outside the context of a snow globe. Circle dies are just always really great to have on hand, and a lot of times you can just cut a circular sentiment out, and as you can maybe tell, these sentiments will all fit inside those smaller circle dies. Really wonderful. But then the base is really great for your snow globes, of course, but because they are separate, now you can kind of reimagine them in different ways. Because what if you wanted to actually make a trophy stand? For example, think world's best dad, world's greatest mom. If you have some sports fans or athletes in your family, you can create little trophies for them as well. And you can also reimagine them as maybe a little stand for figurines like this ballerina, or just a different shape snow globe. This doesn't have like the classic circular globe to it, but look how fun that is. So by giving you the base separate, you can actually kind of use it in different ways, and it looks very different to your standard, maybe your more traditional snow globe. So how fun is that? So this would not be the ultimate snow globe shaker set if it didn't give you everything that you need, because in some cases I'm using some pattern papers for my backgrounds, but what if you wanted to build up your own little scene? Well, there's two border dies that just cut a beautiful edge for you. So here's just a nice curvy line. It could be like snowy ground. It can be a grassy hill if you're crafting for a different season, because snow globes don't necessarily have to just be for the winter season. And then you have this option where there's a silhouette of the tree and a little house that's built into that border. So really, really fun. And of course, you've got some elements that you can decorate with also. You've got the snowflake here, which I actually used as sort of for my push button to make this one light up. And then you've got a snowman there. And as well, there is also, I show you how to put this one together in the masterclass, where I've layered up both of the borders and I added the deer to the scene. So if you wanted to put it on a card, it would look a little something like that. So how fun is that? And you've got everything right there in your die set. But did you notice there's one more die I haven't talked about? That's this one right here. This single die will actually turn any of these 4 circles into an ornament. So look how fun this is. This is actually a shaker light up ornament. And this is also an ornament that lights up. How fun is that? And of course, you can actually hang this from your tree, maybe create a banner of them. And I've taken, it's the second smallest die, and that's this size. But really, you can add just that little bit of that ornament hanger to any of those 4 sizes and create an ornament with it. So this isn't just a snow globe die set. It's actually a snow globe die set, it's an ornament die set, it's a display stand die set. So much versatility, so much craftability. Use it in a variety of different ways throughout the year. And I really feel like, especially also with these border elements, these you can just cut right into a panel and just use it as a regular border element. It doesn't even have to be for your snow globes. It can just be a panel on your A2 size card, or larger, because you can always extend this out further if you want. So those are just a couple of the reasons why I really feel like it is the ultimate snow globe shaker, but those aren't the only reasons why. There's also something super special about this die set, and it's that it works with Pear Blossom Press products. So I really am appreciative of Jamie from Not Too Shabby. She's really supported me as a designer from the very, very beginning of when I started designing for companies and joining design teams. And similarly, Amanda has been super supportive of me as well. And I really love that I can actually help to kind of bring together all of my favorite brands and create a product that plays really nicely with everybody's products. And so specifically in the Pear Blossom Press line of lights, this die set has been designed to be compatible with the Halo light that is part of the Halo light combo pack. Now, the combo pack used to only be sold as a 6-pack where you get 2 Halo lights and 4 One lights, but now you can actually get it as a 3-pack, and you would just get half of that. So 1 Halo and 2 One lights, and the batteries included in both cases. So if you look at the this card, which features the smaller of the two snow globes. You can see that's the halo light in action. And there's also this card here. This is the one I show you how to make in the Masterclass. So you can see how fun the halo light can be. Really easy to install, super fun to put together. And that's not it. The Pear Blossom Press also has shaker pouches and domes. I really love that this relatively new addition to the shop. It's been there for a little while, but it's a little bit of a newer interactive supply that you can get at Pear Blossom Press. So it comes in two different types. You've got the shaker pouches, which are a little bit more flat, and then you have shaker domes, which have a more curved top to it. So let me show you some examples of that. In the masterclass, I'll teach you how to put something like this together, featuring the dome version of the Pear Blossom Press shaker dome. And I have this cute little card that features the shaker pouch, which is more flat. And this will go through the mail just fine. So this card doesn't even feature a snow globe anywhere. It's just a fun little shaker card. And that's what I mean with creating dies that give you sort of as much craftability, as much versatility as I can possibly imagine, so that you can do things like this where you're using different size circles. We're using some compatible products from Pear Blossom Press to create something fun. And it doesn't necessarily even have to fall within the snow globe theme. So how awesome is that? Now, I also have a little bit of a fun kind of discovery. A little bit that I knew about and planned, and half that was just a really nice surprise after the fact. So, of course, Trinity Stamps is another company that I absolutely love, and Tanisa is another company owner who really believes in supporting her designers, and she has supported me quite a bit in my design efforts as well. And so I'm super thrilled that the Trinity Stamps flat acetate shaker pouches are actually also compatible with both size snow globes. So is that not wild? So I knew that this one would be compatible because this is also compatible with the Pear Blossom Press Halo Light. But check it out. This shaker light up features the one light from Pear Blossom Press. It features the flat shaker acetate from Trinity Stamps, and of course it features the snow globe dies from my ultimate snow globe shaker die set. So it has these two size circles plus the ornament hanger to create this really fun shaker light up ornament. Is that not amazing? Also, this card features the 3 1/4 inch circle flat acetate shaker. So this is a shaker, as you can see. The snowflakes are shaking around, and it's relatively flat. It does end up having a little bit of that domed aspect to it, but it's a relatively flat shaker that will just go through the mail easy peasy. So there you have it. So much compatibility with other brands, which I know it's a little bit strange to be thinking about having one brand product work with other brands, but I really feel like there's space for us all, and I really believe that Jamie, Amanda, and Tanisa are so supportive of the crafty community at large and supportive of designers like myself. And I'm really, really proud, and I'm just really happy to be able to create something where I feel like it brings all the brands together, all the brands that I love together, so that I know most crafters don't stick to a single brand. And I think there's room for us all. There's room for us to play nicely together between brands and between designers and brands. And every craft company owner I know really supports their designers and wants to see them grow, and believes in not being kind of exclusive to their design team. And so all of these companies have always been so supportive of me crafting with their products, crafting with other brand products, and I'm really happy to create something that helps to support everybody in some way. And so, really, really excited. I really hope that if you get this die set, that you'll enjoy some of the products from Pear Blossom Press and Trinity Stamps as well, because they all go so nicely together. So I want to also, before I deep dive into the dies, what they cut, I'm not going to actually do any crafting in this video. So for my release videos, I like to tell you about the products, show you some samples, show you the die cut boards, and tell you about the masterclass so that you can have all of the information that you feel like you might need in order to make a purchasing decision that you feel good about. Because I want you, if you're going to purchase, I want you to feel good about your choice. So let me tell you a little bit about the masterclass, and I'm going to actually show you the breakdown of exactly what I teach and demonstrate in the masterclass. So I'm going to show you how to put together just the basic snow globe in both sizes. So you can see this is the large and the small, and it's flat. So this is something that maybe you would use as an element on your card. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson that I go over is how to create just your basic shaker. And the example that I put together is this small one, but of course you can apply all the same techniques to the larger one as well. It was just easier to show on the smaller scale so that I can sort of give you all the side-by-side comparisons. So this does have a little bit more dimension to it, and this is your classic shaker, just a bit of foam, some acetate, and some shaker bits. And of course, I showed this already, but if you want to really make your job a lot easier and craft with something that's really nice, durable, and great quality, the Pear Blossom Press shaker domes and pouches are really amazing because they give you, I mean, it's a harder plastic than just your standard acetate. So it's really, really sturdy and very, very lovely. So I love that. And I show the dome, but the same technique would work for the shaker pouch at Pear Blossom Press. It's just a little bit flatter, but it still has a lot of dimension, so it can still hold quite a lot of your shaker bits. Next up, I share with you how to create with the halo light and actually put together and assemble a snow globe that has that ring of light. That is lesson number 4. Lesson number 5, I depart a little bit from the pattern paper that I've been using, and I mentioned earlier that this was one of the lessons where I kind of show you how to use some of the scene building elements in the die set to create a different look for your snow globe. So you can see all of the snow globes previously have that outer frame. This one doesn't, and it's actually structured just a little bit differently. It's got some really lovely dimension to it, lots of sort of layers to the scene. You've got like a background and a foreground. So that is lesson number 5. And the 6th and last lesson is how to create this really fun ornament that's nice and finished and also lights up. And one of the things that I think is really special about this particular ornament is that you can actually tip out the light, pull it out, and replace the battery if you need to. And so I've designed this ornament so that it can be a keepsake because it's built to last. Imagine maybe putting a photo here, maybe it's baby's first Christmas. And or if you want to do a new one of these ornaments every single year, you can put your kid's photo in here each year on Christmas to have a little bit of their childhood commemorated in ornaments. How fun would that be? So I show you how to build this exact keepsake ornament, which I think is going to be really great to keep for yourself or to maybe gift if it's your kids. Maybe it's a great gift for their grandparents. So really, really fun. This is definitely one that I feel is a really fabulous present. So those are the 6 lessons that I teach in the masterclass. Now the masterclass is going to be available as an option for you when you go to purchase. And so that's what I'll teach, and I teach it all in real time. So it's recorded in real time. That way it's really easy to follow along. But in any case, it's going to be a video that you can speed up, you can slow down, you can pause, and you can rewatch it as many times as you would like. So that's all available to you. Next, I want to give you a deep dive into the die set, what all it cuts, and a closer look at everything. All right, let's take a closer look at the dies and everything that you get in the Ultimate Snow Globe Shaker. So this is the set of dies and die cuts that you would need to assemble the larger of the 2 snow globes. So you have your 2 size of circles. The larger of the 2 is 3.5 inches in diameter. So that's from edge to edge, the orange. And then the smaller of the 2 is 3.1/8 inch diameter from edge to edge of the green layer. So you can layer them for this look if you want, or often what I do is I will cut one layer with just the larger die, and then I'll die cut a frame out of the 2 combined. So you would die cut both at the same time to get just a frame. And the smaller die is what you would use to cut an aperture opening if you were to make a shaker. So that's how all of them look together. The base for your large snow globe, it measures at the widest 3.75 inch, and at the tallest in the center here is 1.5 inch, and the nameplate here is it's just shy of 1/2 inch tall. So I think that's going to accommodate a lot of sentiment stamps, whether you're getting the winter wishes that Jamie designed to go with this collection, or if it's just any old even straight sentiments. This curve is not a super rounded curve, so it's pretty easy to take a straight sentiment, just curve it up a little bit on either ends, and you'll easily be able to match that. So that's the larger of the 2 snow globes. What about the smaller one? So the smaller one, you have a similar set of dies, so you have 2 sizes of circles. The larger of the 2 is 2.3 inch diameter, so from all the way right edge to all the way left edge of the green. The smaller of the 2 circles is a 2-inch circle, and that's shown in orange here. And here's how it looks cut out together at the same time as a frame versus layered on top of one another. And the base is 2.3 inch at the widest and 1 inch tall at the tallest right in the center. So those are just your basic dies for creating your snow globe. And of course, because they are separate dies, as I mentioned earlier, you can kind of use them separately outside the context of a snow globe completely if you wanted. Now let's look at the other elements that you get as part of this set. So you get a couple of border dies. So this border die is kind of interesting because if you die cut it, it only cuts the line out, but it gives you two curvy edges, and you can use either one. There isn't a sort of correct side. So if you cut one piece of paper, you can have this shape where there's a little bit of a hill in the center, because this actually was the piece. If I had rotated this and put it up here, it would match up 100% in the center there. So with one cut, you can get two pieces like this and a couple different looks. So here the two hills are on the sides, and here the hill is in the center. So it gives you a couple of different options to craft there for different landscapes that you might want to create. And this one's a more straight landscape, and it has some additional scene elements already built into it. So you've got your tree and you have your house here. And for additional accents and options, you've got a silhouette deer, you have a snowman, and you've got your snowflake there. Now on the snowman, what you'll notice is there's actually some embossed detailing, and then there are some cutouts. So the nose is cut out, that way you can layer another color behind there if you would like, and the buttons are also cut out. One of the things that I like doing is I actually cut this out of it was like a holographic glitter card, and what I did was I saved the nose and the little buttons, and I inlaid them back in, but I colored everything with my alcohol markers. So this is just colored with alcohol markers. I didn't cut this multiple times and then reassemble everything. I just cut it once, kept everything together, and then just used my alcohol marker to color right over the glitter paper. So that's a fun little option as well. And I want to show the scene element here at work. So when you're creating your scene, you can put this anywhere you want, really. But here's how it would look on the larger of the two snow globes. So you can kind of determine how high up, how low down you want it. I like to aim for about a third of the way up, somewhere thereabouts, so that there's a good amount of sky showing. I don't really like for it to be right dead center, so I just try to drop it down a little bit. But you can definitely fit both the house and the tree within the larger snow globe. So you can see here's how they both look together. And in the masterclass, I also show how to layer up multiple scenes so that you can create a look that's a little bit something like that. So that's an option as well. Now for the smaller snow globe or ornament, as this is depicted, I'm going to just flip to the back just so that you can kind of see in terms of positioning. So you can't fit entirely both the house and the tree. But I do think it's an interesting composition to have it sort of frame the right and the left. And then that leaves the center for a bit of a focal image. Maybe you want to put your deer right in the center. Or you can always sort of drop this all the way to the side like this and only have the tree, or push this to the side and only have the house. So you do get a couple of options for how you might like to create your scene when you're working with the smaller snow globe. And I also just briefly mentioned, but it shouldn't be overlooked, that the ornament here, the ornament sort of hanging item here, that's just a single die that you can add to really any of these circle dies to create or convert that circle into an ornament. So that's another fun thing that you can do where you don't necessarily have to always make a snow globe. So this actually is the second, it's the smaller of the two large dies, and this is actually the smallest die in the set. So it kind of gives you an idea a little bit for the range. If you were to use the biggest snow globe die, it would look like that. So I can actually put this here. That sort of gives you an idea for how large the scene is. And in fact, you can kind of see how that might look without the base there. So lots of fun things that you can do and fun ways that you can craft with the Ultimate Snow Globe Shaker die set. I do want to just briefly touch on how to create your basic shaker. Now, if you've never made a shaker before, I would definitely consider, if you are going to purchase this die set, definitely consider adding the Masterclass to your order, because I teach multiple ways to use this die set, and I teach it in real time so that it's really easy, hopefully, to follow. And there's lots of different projects, but I do want to mention, because this is a shaker die set, I do want to mention some brief instructions for how to create a shaker. And also, because this has been designed to work with the Pear Blossom Press Halo Light specifically and their shaker pouches, I want to also really briefly demonstrate and go over how to add a halo light to your projects. So let's first go over shaker card basics. So what you would want to do, and every shaker card can be made a little bit differently, kind of depends on your favorite way to create a shaker, and a lot of people have different techniques, different methods for really achieving an end result that is probably very similar at the end of the day. But here's one way to make your shaker. So start with die cutting your frame. And to do your frame, you would just use both of the dies for whatever size snow globe you want to create. And when you die cut them together, you get this frame with sort of an aperture window through the center. Then what you would want to do is put a layer of clear acetate on top of that. And I just used the larger of the two circles to cut my acetate so that it's the exact same size. And if you are going to put your shaker right onto your card base, what you can do is you can just put a little mound of your shaker filling right onto your card base, and then on the back, so we've got your frame, we have acetate behind there, and then what you would want to do is run foam adhesive all the way around the perimeter of your frame, leaving no gaps. So once you've attached that, you have your little mound of shaker bits, and then you can just encapsulate all of those shaker bits by just directly gluing down your shaker frame right onto your project. So that's one way to create a shaker. And in the masterclass, I show you how to create a shaker more standalone as an element like this. So this already has the shaker bits put in, and instead of gluing my shaker frame directly onto my project, what I did was from the back, I put the frame, my acetate, just like how you see it here. I put a ring of foam, and then I filled this with my shaker bits, and then I put the back seam cut with the larger of the two circles right on top to close that off completely. Sometimes when I'm crafting, I just put a second layer of acetate so that I have a clear shaker all the way through and through. And then that way, wherever I go to place this on my project, it has a clear window all the way through, so that if I want something on my card base to show through, then I can decide that later. But in this case, I had some really fun scenes to work with and really fun pattern papers, and so I just added that directly, especially since I have the die that cuts it out to be the perfect shape. And now I have a nice little standalone shaker element that I can add to my next card or my next project. So that's a really quick rundown of how to create a shaker. And again, if you need those instructions, maybe with a little bit more detail and demonstrated in real time, I definitely recommend adding the masterclass as an option. But there's also plenty of tutorials out there too. So if you want, you can just search on YouTube for shaker tutorials. There's loads of them. Now, I also want to give just a really brief overview of how you would make these dies light up with a halo light. So kind of similar to our shaker, what we want is a frame that has an aperture cut through. And so what I've taken is, let's say this yellow card, it's actually A2 in size. So let's say that's an A2 size panel that's going to go on top of, say, a card base. So what I've done is, through this yellow layer, I've used the smaller of the two dies. So that's the inner die, to cut out an aperture opening so that the light can emit from inside that opening. And so once that's already cut, then I've got what you would do is trace this out onto, say, your card base, whatever you're attaching it onto, and then that gives you an idea for how and where to position your halo light. So I've actually made this demo board so that I can actually just slide this in just to demonstrate for you how this looks. So what you would want to do is glue your halo light down, and then with foam surrounding it. So I've got foam underneath this yellow panel here, and it's all the way around. Now, if this was a real card, you would definitely put some foam here to close it in, and you would want to glue this. You would want to actually glue it down. But I've just left this open so that I can slide this in and out just for demonstration purposes, and still be able to use this light later on a project. So that's what it looks like lit up. And you could, if you wanted, you could put some vellum. If you want to soften that light, you can always cover this aperture opening with a little bit of vellum. You can cover it with acetate if you want, or you can just leave it open like I've done here. So it just kind of depends on the look that you want to create, but that's essentially the order for how you would want to design your card. So you want to create an aperture opening through a panel. The panel needs to be large enough to hide your halo light. And then once you have your aperture opening cut through, line your panel up onto your card base trace that opening so that you know exactly where the what's going to be visible, essentially. And then that way, when you go to glue this down, you can really line it up so that it's nice and centered on that opening. And you would want to actually glue it down, not like what I have it just sliding in and out like this, but glue that down onto your card base. And you can determine where you want the push button. If this was an actual snow globe, I would want the push button down here, but the only reason why I put it here is so that I can easily slide it in and out for demonstration purposes. And you would want to use some of the world's best foam tape surrounding your light mechanism and attach your panel to it, and then you're done. So the Pear Blossom press lights are really, really easy to use, really easy to install, and the halo lights and the one lights that come with the combo pack, they are among the easiest of the entire line of Pear Blossom press lights because there's no wires, there's nothing really to do other than to install the battery and then decide where you want to glue this onto your project, because everything's all one unit. And that's what's really nice and convenient about this, because you've got your battery holder, you have all of your lights, and you have the on-off button all complete on a single unit. So all you have to do is really just glue it down and you're good to go. So that's a look at a quick look at how you would use the halo light in combination with the dies in this set, because they were designed specifically to work with the halo lights and the Pear Blossom press shaker pouches and domes. The shaker pouches and domes, there's what the shaker pouch looks like. It's nice and flat. It's another way to create a shaker that is really super easy. It doesn't even really require demonstrating on this board, because I can explain it in 2 seconds. But I do have a lesson in the Masterclass for how to craft with this. This is what the pouch looks like. It's relatively flat, so this will still go through your mail just fine. And all you would do is fill this with your shaker bits. So it basically replaces this step of acetate on top of your frame and your wall of foam. That's all built into this already. So all you would do is fill this with your shaker bits, and if you want to create it the way that this was created, and this is the dome, then you would just attach your background layer. So in this case, I use pattern paper, and you would just glue that, lift this liner, because this is an adhesive liner, you would peel that off and then glue down your background. That background would be cut with the larger of the two dies in your small snow globe. And you can do the same thing where if you die cut a frame using both of the small snow globe circular dies, you'll get this frame which sits right on top. Just like how this is. This is also a Pear Blossom press shaker, but this is just the dome style as opposed to the more flat pouch. But this is still pretty dimensional, so you can still put some nice dimensional shaker bits like seed beads, and it would have plenty of room to kind of rattle around and make some nice noise. So that is a look at a closer look at the dies that you get as part of the ultimate snow globe shaker. And I hope that if you do pick up this die set and you craft with it, I hope you'll share your makes with me and tag me at LV Handcrafted, and I can't wait to see what you make. Thank you so much for checking out this video today. I'm gonna leave links to everything, both this die set, the Winter Wishes stamp set, and the coordinating Pear Blossom press products that that the dies work with, as well as the Trinity stamped flat shaker pouches that these dies also work with. So I hope you'll check all of those out. They will be affiliate links, so if you do end up making a purchase, I will get a little bit of a commission, but that comes at no additional cost to you. So thank you so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.